Hello.
Oh, thank you all for joining us. We have Burgess Sports, Ally and Vernon to my left and right. I don't know what your screen looks like. Uh, um, and so, yeah, really excited for them to tell you about all the amazing work that they're doing and their new initiatives with the cafe. But first, I'm going to hand it over to them to kind of talk about the start of Burgess and kind of how they got involved in the work that they're doing.
Shall I do that? So a little bit, and then Ali. Yeah. Hello, I'm Vernon. I'm at school at the moment where I work. I might have to go because I know the cleaners are moving around and they might be coming in any minute, so I might have to move. But Burgess Sport. Well, probably the initial idea is as a teacher, I started a little charity for rugby called Southwark Tigers, and it was to encourage kids who wouldn't have access to sport, particularly a posh sport like rugby, to get involved, from a really diverse community where we live. And that's developed bit by bit and it's still going. And then I became aware that there's lots of other sports going on in the area, like boxing, football, especially tennis, even American football was happening at that time. Lots of them. And everyone was kind of fighting and been a bit like wanting their space and not wanting to be a team, really. They just loved their sport and hated everyone else. So with the tennis Tom, we set up Burgess Sport 10 years ago, was it? Or something? I don't know. And as a way of just kind of coming together when we talk to the local government and things like that. So we're always one team that we all, when we all start talking, we realize we're all about the same thing. We wanted to give opportunities for kids in our area who wouldn't have opportunities. And I, especially in the rugby, I love taking them to sort of posh areas outside of London to play and meet and just kind of pick up different vibes and stuff like that. So Burgess Sports started, and then Ali, my wife, got involved, and then it's really took off because then there was suddenly someone really organized running the show. And Ali, do you want to jump in now?
Yeah, well, first of all, we are based in one of the most diverse and mixed and very deprived areas in London. So that was important, to kind of come together, support each other, rather than being fighting, as Vernon was saying, because they were all kind of aiming the same sort of thing, was kind of take children or kids off the streets, get involved in something positive and healthy. And I got involved, and there was like this idea of start running multi-sport camps during the summer, which is like not a camp where people go and sleep. It's just several hours, where they will be doing different sport activities that normally they will be carried out in rotation. So they will have opportunities to try different sports during the day and throughout the week. And this was at the beginning, it was kind of, as Ben was saying, not very well organized. It was pretty informal. And as you can notice, English is not my native language. So I was surrounded by moms from different countries, all English speakers, but Nigerian, Africans from different countries in Africa, from different countries in Asia, and they're all telling me their children's name. And I was, oh my God, I cannot take any of this. We need to do something online. We need to put the registrations and the booking system online, because I'm sure that I'm making lots of mistakes just trying to take the names of these kids. But the thing is, like, we start from that point, having surveys, talking with the parents when they were coming, and having interviews with the children, and the programs were expanding. And then we were kind of shaping everything that we do. Actually, it's because it's being asked. It's because it's being discussed with the community. So in a way, I'm very proud of saying that Burgess Sport does belong to the community more than ourselves. It's an organization that represents, the community in many ways. And I feel the community feels, that they can count and rely on the activities that we run. And we've been able to move forward from just running holiday camps and multi-sport programs to develop a leadership course. And that's also as a result of children growing up and not willing to leave, the activities, so offering themselves as a volunteers. And there was us, just setting up courses, and upskilling these young people, to be able to assist the coaches. And now we have 3 coaches that are paid, and they were not long ago participants. I mean, they were attending our programs as a young kids, and they follow all the path, and they grew up, and they follow the steps of this ladder. And now they are coaching, which is something that is really inspiring, for the youngest, because they see, there is a way for them to go, a path to follow, something that it could inspire them in many ways. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, we do also have very connected. We are very connected with the food program. We have introduced the food because we have lots of problems with food insecurity. We have massive problems as well with obesity, which is, I think, is very connected with the lack of food. So sometimes parents, with very tight budgets, try to solve the problem just buying, ready-made chicken chips meals that cost few pennies, and they feel that probably that would solve the problem, but actually, they are causing another, because they are making their children to be very fat, and that's obviously causing in the long-term health issues.
Yeah, sorry, catch up. We found that there were problems with behavior and children turning up with really no food, and so we just thought that food is really a massive part. It's not that you can do the sports and we do the teamwork, the social skills, and all the things connected with that, but if they don't have a good diet, it's a real problem. So initially, the children were taught, what we were making. They get to see how it's made and get involved in it and take it on. But now we obviously we've got to get to the parents. So that's another thing we're working on, isn't it? Like kids in the kitchen and the parents all together cooking meals that we suggested. So that, we weren't really into food to start with, let's be honest. And that has become part of what we have to do, or we feel we have to do. And it's really nice.
Well, it was a part of the learning process, because as our program is quite long. I mean, the children will come from 8:30, 9:30 until 3, 4:30. I mean, depends. But it's quite a few hours. So obviously lunch is in between. And at the beginning, they were bringing their own packed lunches. Oh my God, after lunch, the level of energies was like upscale. And it was really difficult to manage, because the food that they were bringing was so inadequate, with loads of sugar. Obviously, we're like, wow. And we noticed that it wasn't good. It wasn't good for the program. It wasn't good for themselves, because they couldn't really control themselves. So that's why we start little by little introducing healthy snacks, and then we move forward to really run a completely and comprehensive food program. So we provide all the food within our activities, after school and holiday programs, and everything that we do actually is connected with food.
Ally and Vernon, can you talk a little bit about the number of kids you were reaching before COVID? And the programs you were doing, and how the pandemic impacted the work that you were doing, particularly because the situation was so bad in the UK.
Well, it was getting enormous, wasn't it? It was the holiday program, the last one before COVID, 200 children between 5 years old and 12 years old, plus a whole team of teenagers, about 15 years old, about 20 of those helping out. So over 200 every day. And then COVID kicked in, and then last summer it was like 60 a day, wasn't it? That's the most we could do.
Yeah, plus the ambassadors, we couldn't have more because of the restrictions,
Yeah, so it's been a massive cutback. So we've gone online to do as much as we can. We've targeted the most disadvantaged to come on the camps, but there's still a lot out there who've missed out, haven't they, over the last year?
It was, COVID has made the life for everyone in the world really, really difficult, but we were very kind of proactive organization, because our first lockdown started on the 23rd of March last year. And that was precisely the first day that we started our food program, because we knew that it was coming, and we were kind of very aware of the situation of our local community. So we set up a food program, and we were delivering ready-made meals to families and people with self-isolation and COVID situation, and et cetera, et cetera. We started with 200 meals, and then we, at the peak of the pandemic, we reached 500 meals a week, and Go Campaign was one of our funders. And not only funding the food, but also very important thing was that the funding the online activities, which it was something that it was really difficult to find funders, you know, that could understand that people not only need to eat, but also need to have connections, you know, I mean, being interactive in any shape or form, it was so crucial and critical, you know, because it was something so new and it changed our lives so much, being unable, you know, to meet people, to go out, and throughout all the activities that we were able to do, the people was kind of feeling still part of a group. They were feeling that somebody cares about them. We were delivering different activities. I mean, fitness videos, family games, arts and craft, and that was really positive.
Yeah, it was lovely because the funding from Go Campaign really helped us to provide things like simple things like jigsaw puzzles. We'd deliver them out in the morning on bicycles, and the competition was whoever could complete it first, you know, with a photo. They could take a photo, would win a prize or something on Amazon or something. And so that meant the whole family got on it. They were in lockdown, but they were all trying to make this jigsaw as quickly as possible. And things like that, just trying to do kind of cooperative stuff they could do inside their apartment, stuff like that.
And for us as well, it was very interesting because it was an excuse for us to be able to go and visit our families, you know, just knock the door and just drop a game or whatever, you know, and you could say, how are you, you know, how is everything being with you, and just get a little bit of a feedback. That was a massive help, I must say, because it was a very, very kind of heavy thing to take in, to be completely unable to visit, to see, to meet, to talk to people face to face. So that was hard for many, many people, and especially in our community that not everybody has access to internet. I mean, everybody has got mobiles, but not everybody has got laptops. So there are many kind of barriers, you know, for people sometimes to be able to be connected with others, which is so important.
I think Danny has a question, so I'm gonna let her ask it.
Thank you. I just was really curious. You said that you did all of these deliveries, and some of them had like puzzles and things like that. Some of them were like food and stuff. I was just curious how often these deliveries were being made or sent out.
The what?
How often that they were? Well, food was. What were we doing? Food in the end, was that what we were once a week, weren't we? The main one.
We were delivering 2 meals per family, but it was for about 7 people once a week, but it was 2 meals.
Yeah, for two meals. And then the games and the activities once a week were going out. Yeah. And there were substantial, they were quite difficult activities, or they would last a long time. So they were going once a week. We had a whole team of bicycle volunteers. It was wonderful. People came from everywhere to help. It was lovely. Really, yeah.
Great.
So we were accommodating, you know, because we were with restriction, obviously, you know, I mean, we were kind of allowed to do these bits because it was kind of seen as essential workers. So we put it like, try to compress, you know, all the deliveries in a day or so, because actually we have to protect ourselves as well. So there was lots of things to consider. But we had also activities online. So the fitness videos, for instance, we're going every day, the arts and crafts. So we were delivering activities like they were the whole week, and the interviews and phone calls as well. We were kind of trying to keep that quite often. Yes, so we were evolving. Then during the summer, we were the only group that was jumping to do face-to-face activities, and with loads of restrictions. We couldn't really cater more than 60 participants and 20 ambassadors. So it was kind of very shocking for us that we are always used to have big groups, to have a very reduced number of participants and work in a sort of a bubble system. So the children were not mixing each other, they were working the whole week with the same coaches. And it was like making a little family group in a way. So that was last summer, but also I felt personally, that was not over. So our coaches were training themselves to live stream, because the first lockdown we were pre-recording the videos. But then I thought this is not going to be good, if we have to be in lockdown again. So they learned how to live stream, and it was really positive, because we were able from that point on, to start kind of having more contact with those participants that couldn't be physically, in the program. They could follow, from their houses. And that's the way that we did in October and Christmas, and from January till Easter, that finally we were able again to be face to face, because we have lots of lockdowns. I don't know if you know that. Three, but nice.
Lauren has a question.
Okay.
Hi, Ally and Vernon. We met a few months ago when you helped us with the video about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I believe I met your daughter, the production assistant. So it's wonderful to see you both again. So it's kind of a two-part question. First, I'm wondering if now that your programs are shifting back to in-person, which I'm sure like you and everybody are just completely overjoyed about, will you still keep a virtual component for Burgess Sports? Maybe not as intensely as before, but still keeping new information online, or now that you have a lot of archives, will that sort of suffice and you'll shift fully back to in-person programming?
No, I think we'll definitely keep the virtual as much as we can if we've got the resources, because we've learned a lot. And me as a teacher, I've seen things it can do, things it can't do, but also things it's really good at. So I think we'd be crazy if we ignored it. I think there's so much potential there. And we come out with some quite crazy ideas, things we can do on Zoom and stuff like that. It just works. It really works. Some of the fitness stuff was hilarious, live fitness stuff. I really enjoyed shouting at the children while they were doing the exercise, and they love it. There was a lot of shouting going on. No one was muted. We just go for it. And we could do that. We can do that very effectively. It's not that expensive in compared to in-person delivery. So it'd be crazy to leave it. Don't you think so, Ally? I mean, there's lots of stuff there.
Yeah, I don't think we will, because actually we develop a very good skill with the delivery. We normally will be doing the sessions with somebody who is going to be running the session and another one who is going to be just looking at the screen, who normally knows most of the names of the participants, because sometimes you get the name, but it's the name of the parents. So it's really important to know the name of the child. And that person, is our project manager. She knows most of the names. And that's really important, because as the one coach is doing the activities, and the other ones are following, she can, shout at them and encourage them to keep going. And we've been doing really well, actually, with that format. So I think, and it worked really well with the girls. We have a Girls for Girls club. This is also, part of our programs, a group of teenagers girls. They were just looking for something for themselves, a space, an activity, a group that it was only for girls. And they were not very sure about what sort of activities. They went to do some sort of physical activity, but also have the opportunity sometimes to cook, have debates, maybe some sort of arts and crafts. So it's a program that they are shaping themselves in a way. They kind of plan and program what sort of activities they want to do. We have about 18 girls. So because it's a big group and our rooms are not big. When they do dance, for instance, we divide the group in 4. So they will be coming on Monday, for instance, a quarter, and the other 3 quarters online. And then we are swapping the groups. And you know what I mean? So it's like every other week, one group, we have the opportunity to be face to face.
I mean, the cooking worked really well online, didn't it? Because
Yes.
they could be, Afro, our manager, because she could be cooking and she was learning as she was doing it. And they were all looking at their phones and cooking at the same time. And there's a lot of discussion going on, watching what each other was doing in their kitchen. And it it was a lovely atmosphere. And they felt really,
Yeah, they go on Wednesday to our clubhouse and they collect, because our food program that I was mentioning before, we deliver 18 weeks of ready-made meals, but from September onwards, we change, and rather than being delivering the meals made, we are giving the ingredients. So the idea for the families is to, I think in a way, give more dignity to the fact that you are being helped. It's like feeling more part of a project. You are part of a project where you are challenged to cook recipes that probably you don't know. So that's more or less what we are trying to give, the opportunity for them not to feel, I mean, oh, you're poor, you need to give to receive this. So we try to change a little bit the concept and actually, to make them to learn, different recipes. And it's been really interesting. And the girls, the Girls for Girls wanted to be part of this program. So they go every Wednesday to collect their bags, and they're cooking on Fridays. So they go into the Zoom, they put the Zoom in the kitchen, and they do other things while they're cooking. I mean, they do debates or, they have different topics every session. It's just working really well. I find it funny.
Franco gives a recipe for the week. It might be his special Sicilian tomato sauce for pasta, and they'll have all the ingredients in that bag that week. So they have a really nice recipe. There's often a video for them to watch of him making it, and then they can all make it together at the same time. And it's a really useful skill. And they come out of it knowing, well, that's how you make a really good Italian tomato sauce, something like that.
And again, this was a program that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, we were doing before COVID. As I said, the food is a very important element of our program. So for instance, during the holiday camp, Franco will be doing healthy cooking workshops. So during the afternoon, 1 or 2 days, he will go to one of our to the venue, and run a session with one group, and he will be teaching them how to cook a specific recipe with very basic ingredients, very much on a budget, but simple things. And in the after school program, we were doing the same, but we were inviting the parents as well. So the parents and the children were cooking together behind our local clubhouse or community center. We have like a little garden. So we grow there tomatoes, basil, different things. So Franco will normally take the families and the children, to that area, and they will be planting things, they will put in the seed and seeing the seed to grow, and then harvesting and cooking with them. So it's like the whole process, we are trying in a way to, I don't know, I think children need to develop a relationship sometime with vegetables to be able to eat them. So that's why, for us, it's really important to go through the whole process. Because of COVID, we have to stop that activity because we can't really meet, but we've been trying to find ways on how we can reshape this and continue it. So that's why we changed the food program that we did in March to this other format.
We found with Franco he's so inspirational. He's very, very Italian. It's ridiculous how Italian he is, and he's so passionate about the food. So he prepares a lovely recipe, nothing complicated, but something really useful. All the ingredients he sources, and they're in the bag for them. And then when they come to collect it, they all they want to do is talk about the one from the week before, when the recipe he did the week before, how it went. They've got their own WhatsApp group where they're all on it, with comments and things. And it's just brought this community together through the food. And that was through COVID, because they're not meeting in one room, that we can't do that, or, so it's all been done virtually, but it's worked really well, hasn't it? It's been lovely.
Yeah.
They get one meeting when they collect when they collect the bag of food. So, and they can they can ask questions of Franco. Yeah.
Well, Go Campaign also funded this program from January, and we were able to have up to 55 families, so it was quite a big group. And last Saturday, we had a family fest for just 10 moms with their children, because still we have lots of restrictions in terms of the number of people that we can meet. So we did an outdoor family fest. Franco cooked for them, because these people, never had the opportunity to go for a restaurant, for instance, or nobody has cooked for them. They are very vulnerable, and very low income families. So they were so happy, so happy, because Franco put like the table, the setup. I think I sent you photos, Michelle.
I'll share them.
So lovely, the way that he cares so much, it looks really, really nice, and they were really, oh my God, very happy to be catered and being cooked. And we had an amazing storyteller. It was a guy who was from Sierra Leone. So he was dressed up, in the kind of a very African costume, and with the tambourine and with the drums. Oh my God, it was so nice, so nice, the way that he was engaging with children. I enjoy myself.
You went crazy. Yeah, it was. We should have a video of Ali. It was. Yeah, this was like one of the children.
Yeah. Yeah, I was one of the children, actually.
Yeah, that was nice.
I'd love for you guys to share a little bit about your new initiative for your sustainability efforts in the cafe, and kind of share this exciting new project that you're doing.
Can I say something quickly, and then you go?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We realize that funding is going to be tight and it's going to be difficult. So we want to be sustainable. We need to have some sort of business model we can get money in. And we were looking initially like some sort of mobile kiosk where we could maybe make coffee or something and use that for revenue. And we're kind of researching that. We're still very much in our head. We want to do that. Because I like Citroen Retro. I don't know if you know Citroen Retro vans they're like 80 years old, corrugated iron. They're really lovely. Anyway, that's just me. I'll forget that. But then the tennis center in the park, which is a very humble little place. It's not like a posh tennis club. They had a space which could be made into a cafe, and well, basically we've taken it on, and we've become coffee baristas and sandwich sellers, and it's a whole new world, and it's really fun actually, isn't it? Although I'm not very good at it, I'm learning. But Ali loves it. I mean, she just loves meeting the people and chatting and meeting. Yeah. Anyway, Ali, you can give more detail about how it works, but it's been a massive change.
I think because of COVID, we had our fantastic business plan and fundraising strategy, and we were just about to be funded for 3 years to be able to test our fantastic business plan. And that decision was going to be signed on the 23rd of March last year, precisely the day that the first lockdown was announced. So the funders say, oh my God, I mean, this is impossible, because you are not going to be able to test anything. And this is just not going to happen. So they gave us like an extension for a year. And yeah, I mean, very kind, very generous. And then it was us thinking, Jesus Christ, I mean, this is not going to be good. I mean, there is a before and after COVID. So we need to reshape this. We need to change, the strategy, and think how we can make our programs continue without relying so much on funding and without relying so much on what we do. I mean, still being able to bring some sort of revenue and income. And just through observation, we realized, that coffee shops, especially like the type of coffee shop that we have now, which is in a park, is something that still could happen, because regardless that you are in lockdown or no, still you are able to run that sort of business. So that's why we came across with the idea maybe to try with a mobile kiosk, because there was no shops available for us to apply. And then Tom from the tennis center, who is also involved in Burgess Sports, one of the founders, is one of our trustees. At the beginning, he was a little bit reluctant because it's lots of management, it's lots of administration, can be kind of risky. But he saw that we were so determined, he said, well, let's try, in the tennis center, how this can be possible. And we've been proving, in this couple of months that it's possible. We've been making profits. We have regular customers. We have very happy customers, knowing that every purchase, is helping local community. So, yeah,
we've employed 6 full-time members of staff, isn't it? 6?
8.
I think, yeah. 8. Is it 8 now? Blimey.
8 member staff that they were unemployed because of COVID. So that's really good.
And we've got that really nice coffee company called Volcano, who are very ethical and pay much above, what's it called, fair trade. Do you have fair trade in America? Yeah, they pay a lot more than that. So they're quite expensive for us, but we really like them. A small company in South London that really need the growers. So that's really part of what we were doing. And we pay our wage a higher wage than you have to. I forget, in America here it's called minimum wage, isn't it? In America it's something else, but we pay London living,
which is like £2 over the minimum wage.
$2 or $3 more. Yeah. It's been lovely. Yeah.
I mean, it's been interesting. It's been very challenging because, as Vernon was saying, I mean, we've been looking very carefully for our supply chain. So we are trying to find people and suppliers that are kind of looking for the same sort of ethical things that we have as organizations. So following the same sort of principles. So obviously that kind of thing always costs more because they are carbon free, because they are environmentally friendly, because they pay London living wage and all that kind of things. But it can be done other ways, in my view. I mean, you can't do right with the right hand and wrong with the left. I mean, you are just one person or one single organization. So for us so far, it's working. And we're very happy, that, we're paying fairly. Everybody that is connected with us is in the same sort of ethos and page. So, yeah.
And Franco's making some brilliant toasted sandwiches. They're our speciality, sourdough bread. And we all chose we had meetings before to choose, like the staff and everyone, what sandwiches we like. And then we prepared them. We had a tasting session and then we chose them. They're named after the different people in who are
in the
involved.
Community or in the organization. They are named under. That was an interesting thing because when we heard at the beginning of February that we will have this opportunity, obviously we have to push ourselves, start learning something that it was completely unknown for us. And we were guided by somebody who is a consultant, who is an expert in this business. So she was guiding us. And then we were inviting our trustees, supporters, funders, people from the community, to test the coffee, help us to choose. We were trying different recipes for salad, soup, toasties, and everybody was voting for the name.
Of the cafe. Oh God, what an argument on the name. Yeah. Also, oh God, everyone had an opinion.
Yeah, we like to make things difficult.
Yeah, I had about 100 names suggested. Everyone loved their own suggestion and hated every other one.
Yeah, we like to make things a little bit more difficult. Yeah, but everybody feels part of it. At the end, it's like everybody feels kind of owns a little bit, the cafe.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to kind of open it up to questions from everybody. So if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I work at Go Campaign. Thank you so much for telling us all about Burgess Sports. I was just wondering how you get the word out about Burgess Sports, how people come to find the organization and how they get involved.
Hi, Kristen. Yeah, I mean, it's word of mouth now. I mean, it's really is in the community. We try to keep it as local as possible on the really the poorest areas around us, and that it's referrals. Ali, we don't really have to advertise, do we? Certainly, like you said.
Oh, not really. No.
Holiday
Yeah,
camp
because
signs up straight away. 24 hours, 100, 200 people are trying to get their children on. So.
Because at the beginning we were doing
Yeah.
outreach, and the thing is like, always the intention was to target the most vulnerable and people that really need to be supported. This is all about, bringing opportunities for people that normally won't have opportunities. We think, the holidays can be a marvelous time for some children, but terrible for others, a very stressful and detrimental time, because they don't have anything to do, probably lack of food if they don't receive the meal from school. So those kind of things, as a result, put them back when they're back to school, for instance, they are behind in comparison with middle or upper class children. So for us, it was really important, to be sure that we are targeting, those most vulnerable. And that's why we were approaching schools, partners, local organizations that that work with the local community. So through these connections and this initial work, we were kind of outreaching, those individuals, and then it just grew because people are talking, and spreading the word.
We don't have to do leaflets particularly or banners or anything. I mean, we're connected with all the sports clubs because that's how we developed. So we can easily communicate with the sports clubs who have big connections with all the people doing sports in their own sports. So that's thousands of local people. So we can use that. We can tell them what we're doing. But we don't have to push it anymore, do we? At all.
No.
It's almost the opposite. Yeah.
And it's always the case when we are going to be doing a program, we will be first talking, with local schools, and they will be kind of referring the most vulnerable. So those places, are the first ones to go. And before we put the program online, because it's really important, not to leave those individuals out. And sometimes they are going to be out because the parents, they don't have the skills, they don't have the facilities. They don't have the ability. I mean, there are many reasons. So you need to be sure, that you get to those individuals, first.
Yeah, it's
local
key.
schools.
Yeah, but you have to know the right person in each local school, the person who deals with new families in the area or families under pressure. And each school, these are like elementary schools, will have a person who kind of deals in that area. And if you have the relationship with them, it's very easy, one email to say, like, we're looking for more, we've got some spaces, and they'll send through the details.
Yeah.
And
throughout the years, we have developed a very strong relationship with the local school. It's so strong that pre-camp, we will having meetings or conversations, and we will be checking name by name, the special needs or the special situation of each individual. And then after the camp or after the holiday program, we will be having another meeting where we will be feeding back, how the activities went and how these children, behave or how the situation was for them. So in a way, we kind of act as the school eyes during the summer or the holiday period. I think it's a really important thing to do. It's very difficult to really have an impact in people's lives just as a single organization. You really need to develop partnerships if you really want to do something.
Thank you.
It's always nice if you like to hear about like individual stories of like a kid or a family in your food program, and to kind of hear how they changed because of the support that you were able to provide. I wonder if you could share like one or two, you know, you have your favorites of like the things that have moved you over the course, particularly during COVID. I think everybody would love to hear.
Oh God, we have lots of stories to tell actually, because from children, for instance, that they were refusing to eat specific foods, like, I don't know, oh, I don't eat anything else apart from chicken and chips. And suddenly, changing, and now it's like eating really happily everything that we could offer. From participants that during the lockdown were really struggling, with mental health situations, like they were feeling afraid of their parents to die. And because of us being in contact with them and knowing that situation, calling more often, they were feeling better, and they were kind of improving. And the only fact that they were able to express this to one of our coaches, because they were unable to even talk about it with their own family. I remember one of the moms, for instance, that she is Latin American, and she has a very, her English is really little, very poor. And they are dealing with lots of situations, very difficult situation in the flat because they have lots of pests. So that was really, really difficult. And somebody told me, this mom, looks like she's not paying attention to her daughter. So I contacted the school and I had the conversation with the deputy head. And she said, no. The problem is like they have pests, and probably because she doesn't speak English properly. And I said, would you mind if you give me their number and I give a call? So I called her, and that was, so easy to solve. But because she couldn't speak properly, that was a very difficult situation, and it completely changed, the everything, in that little girl life, because of the mom, unable to solve the situation. The little girl was really down the hill, and just being me, able to talk to them and then put them in contact with the right people, that could provide support. Everything changes for them. So there are, I don't know, many.
Well, I like the example of Mashuda. She's a lot of kids, and how old is she now? She'd be about 12, Muslim family. And so she wears a hijab and stuff. And I like her especially because she plays for the rugby team, which is cool. But anyway, that's my personal. But she, during lockdown, nothing going on in her life, just in a really tiny apartment, and probably going crazy because she's a really smart girl. She was entering every competition, wasn't she? Everything she was, every quiz, everything, she had an answer. And we were giving prizes on Amazon, wasn't it? Like a £10 voucher to buy something on Amazon. And she was doing quite well on that, wasn't it? I was saying to her, you were making some money. Yeah. But she just said it gave her something to look forward to. It kept her going. And now she's out of lockdown. She's back at school, and she's out coming and doing sports at the weekend. And she's back in action again. But I think it was tough during COVID, because I remember going around there delivering food to them, and she was hardly speaking. It was almost like she needed to be warmed up to speak. She was just like, she was like in a day. But now, she's come through that, I think. Yeah.
I'm sure that her brother was saying that he loved the fact that we were doing online activities, because he felt like nothing really has changed so much, in a way that still could see us, or see the coaches, or at least know what's going on with the other members of the team. It was good for him as well.
Well, they were out doing fitness stuff. He's a 15-year-old, and they were going out. They knew each other, on their own, doing some fitness, get ready for the coming back to do sport. So that was really good. So yeah, well played to him. There's loads. You must know that I don't want to give names. Should we do it?
Don't say the name, but just say.
Yeah. What about Alice and Elizabeth?
Yeah, they too. They were kind of very active, and for them was really important as well. She, for a moment, one of these girls, was completely lost, and she was struggling to sleep during the first lockdown because it felt like every day it was the same. So decided to engage with the programs that we were delivering because it was tough. The first lockdown, the children didn't have school. It was different in the second and in the third lockdown because the school was online. But in the first lockdown, it was months of us being indoors, and there was nothing, really nothing. I mean, they had no activities. The school closed and everything was shut. So it was, that was not just the physical health, it was the mental health that was kind of really an issue, an important thing to look after.
Well, does anybody have any additional questions? I just have one because we have our staff here. And I think it's always great to hear feedback from our partners about Go Campaign and what we could do better, or, so just take this opportunity for you guys to give us feedback.
You mean us?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, we love you. I mean, I just love you because we can talk to you, and it's just very natural. And I think for us, that's really important, that we're not just filling in a form to get money, because that's not nice, really. It's nice to talk to someone who's interested to know what we're doing and why we do it. And maybe even challenges why we do it. And I think that's what's so lovely about what I've seen of Go Campaign. It's very grassroots. It's looking for the people doing something in the community. So, very efficient, not wasting money, and just very warm. I don't know if that sounds a bit crap, maybe, but I do mean that. It feels really warm.
Well, it's easy, accessible. I feel the same. I mean, it's been like a massive gift because you found us. We didn't find you, and that was like, oh my God. I mean, honestly, really, really important in a very precise and difficult moment, and just giving. And as Vernon said, for me, it's really important. I mean, sometimes it's not just about asking for support or asking for money. I think it's really important the relationship that you can develop with your supporters or your sponsors. For me, it's really important, to make sure that the people that are supporting us really understand what we do and they feel the same about what we're doing is important for them as well. It's not just about ticking a box. Okay, I covered this. I gave money for the young people to do physical activity. That's it. It's more than that. And I think it's really because behind all this paperwork, there are lots of stories, there are lives, and it's important, to be able to tell, and I think that's something that I feel that this, you guys and Go Campaign do really well. Really, really well. And the format as well, the form that you have to fill when you're applying for funding is also difficult.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good with that. Yeah, I hate paperwork, and you're one of the best on that.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're over an ocean, to be honest. It feels like you're a lot closer. I feel so annoyed that you can't come down to the cafe and I can make you a nice flat white.
My God. Yeah. But hopefully this will be over again sometimes.
Yeah, I can make a nice flat white, and Ali does the toasties really well. So there you go.
It will happen. Just I think sometime in the near future. But thank you both for your time, for taking the time to talk to us and to share your stories of the kids. I mean, you are one of, I think, a strong organization that is so community driven. I think in everything you do, it has started with conversations from your community and what they said that they needed and how you've been able to respond to that. And even with the food program, I love that, you know, it was the thought of like, how can we give dignity and, you know, and not just give people food, but community, and to really connect people, particularly, you know, in the pandemic. So I just think like there's such intention and thought into what you do that it's just been great to watch you grow. And I'm really excited about the cafe. This means for your other programs, because the fact that you're already starting off as profitable, you know, that's just revenue that goes back into the programs and does the things that are harder to get donor funding for, are so important because you know what the community needs. So thank you for allowing us to walk on this journey with you.
No, well, any of you,
so
please come and
much.
visit when you're in London. Come down anytime. You're more than welcome.
Thank you for your time and for the interest, you know, of knowing about us and, well, just listening all our stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Thank
For
you.
sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ally and Vernon.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
I
night.
just want to echo, like Michelle
Thank
said,
you.
you are the epitome of, you know, our partners. You know, when I explain what Go Campaign does, Burgess Sports is often one of my examples of the organizations that we partner with. And it's just been so lovely to learn more about what you do and see you both again. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
And
you.
I'll be there for that flat white.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
good rest of your
Bye-bye.
night. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Take care, guys. Lovely to see you.
Well,